Hello fellow tacos, it is I, Skeleton King. But many of you can call me Mex. When I woke up this bright and sunny morning, I went to Brickmania. I couldn't believe my cat eyes that Brickmania made another release wave of their Ukrainian Su-25 Frogfoot. I missed the previous one release in November. So I made a promise that I wouldn't miss this one. So 700 clams later. After 2.5 months of waiting, it has finally arrived. I cannot wait to stop salivating and to start building this set, just like how I had to build my life after I escaped the cartel. This set comes with at least 1,200 Lego pieces, which is nothing to an experienced builder like me. Let's start unboxing. I cut this like I did to my own foreskin. After some serious fisting, I got the box out of its paper shell. Upon opening the box, we are greeted with instructions. And for $700, the instructions seem clear, concise, and legible. The pieces come in these little baggies. While I may have escaped the life of the cartel, it seems like that life has a way of finding me. I'll give them to my cousin Juanito, who likes to put his oregano in them for some reason. Before we get to the main course, we're going to start with dessert and build the Ukrainian pilot. The helmet is 3D printed and has a nice stamped print comparable to Lego's printed elements. Also, the helmet is nice and shiny and reminds me of a candy mint. Oxygen mask, head, and helmet are all assembled on the minifigure body. I'm just gonna take a moment and admire it. Noise. Next, we're going to be separating out our pieces. This is a crucial step because it makes my life easier. If you disagree with me at this step, you can say that to my face while I'm choking the life out of you! Now we get to the meat and potatoes of this set. We will start building the main body of the Su-25 Frogfoot. Remember when I said I was an expert builder? Turns out I have the sight of Lance Stroll, because I already messed up and used the wrong pieces on these 1x6 black and white pieces. There, now I erased my mistake, like I erased my political enemies. We continue with our regular build with the main body. I have nothing to say here, so enjoy the music. With the main body done, we now work on the right wing of the Frogfoot. The Su-25's wings are straight and mid-mounted, built not for speed, but for stability and control at low altitudes and slow speeds. That makes them perfect for ground attack missions, or for destroying my hopes and dreams in War Thunder. Unlike the swept-back wings of high-speed jets, these straight wings let the Su-25 loiter over battle zones, fly tight turns, and deliver accurate fire support. They're built tough and heavily reinforced, capable of carrying up to 8,800 pounds of weapons, or about 1/1,000,000th of a queso, across 10 hardpoints. Everything from rockets and bombs to missiles and external fuel tanks. They're also designed to absorb damage and keep the jet flying in rough combat conditions. In short, Su-25 wings are all about survivability, precision, and payload. Exactly what close air support demands. The left wing is exactly the same as the right one, so we're just going to speed up the building process by doing a montage. Montage over. With both wings now done and over, we can mount them to the other wing assembly and then place it to the main body. You may have noticed the camera quality has changed. You can tell me in the comments and then be promptly blocked. We're moving the build onto the tail. Rear? Rear tail? Whatever the hell this part of the plane is called. I'm sure the people with plane knowledge will let me know. Back to the lore drops. This part of the Su-25, just below the tail fin, is the tail boom and rear fuselage, which houses critical systems like the air brake, flare, chaff dispensers, and the tail skid for landing protection. It's also where engine exhaust nozzles are located, spaced apart to reduce vulnerability to heat-seeking missiles. The vertical stabilizer and rudder above provide yaw control, helping keep the jet stable during low-altitude attack runs. The entire rear is built tough for combat survival, unlike a femboy's boosie. Now we mount the spine/tail thingy onto the main body, and some other doodads that go on the Su-25 for detailing purposes. Shifting over, we are now working on the front and canopy. The spine of the Su-25 runs along the top of the fuselage from behind the cockpit to the base of the vertical tail. It's not just for aerodynamics. It houses vital avionics, wiring, and control linkages safely away from ground fire. The spine is also reinforced with armor plating to protect critical systems. In some variants, it may include additional electronic warfare gear or antennas. Its raised, bulky shape gives the Su-25 a distinctive profile and reflects the jet's design, focus on survivability and battlefield durability. This little doohickey is the backrest of the pilot's chair. Now that I have finished this section, we now will mount it to the main body. With this simple addition, this makes the mock look more like the Su-25 that we know and love. We now will build the side panels for the front of the plane. I will give Brickmania credit here. So far, the entire build has been really enjoyable, and I'm having a blast so far. However, is this set really worth $700? I will give my final thoughts once the Frogfoot is completed. We now get to my favorite part of these LEGO mocks, the Cockpit. I don't know why, but it just floods my brain with the good juice when I build LEGO cockpits and when I crack my spine like a red vine candy. Ukrainian Su-25s use basic Soviet-era instruments, but have been modernized with GPS navigation, digital radios, and Western targeting pods. These upgrades improve precision, communication, and survivability, making the jet more effective in modern combat while keeping its rugged simplicity. Now all I need to do is gently pick it up, and... I like how Brickmania has used these pieces and to make the shape of the Su-25 nose. Unlike my big nose that my father keeps commenting on. Like, I get it, Dad. If I were in the Air Force, my call sign would be intake. You don't need to remind me of it every day. I am getting the operation soon, I promise. I mean, the Su-25's brick-built nose looks nice. Time to add some more greebles, and to add the Ukrainian pilot to his lil seat in the cockpit, and to hope he can destroy some Russian targets in the Donbass region. Ukrainian Su-25s use basic Soviet-era instruments, but have been modernized with GPS navigation, digital radios, and Western targeting pods. These upgrades improve precision, communication, and survivability, making the jet more effective in modern combat while keeping its rugged simplicity. The engine covers are now being built and added. IDK, if this is what it is called, but I am calling the top engine covers. I struggled getting these on the main body. I began to assemble the engine intakes, and trying to mount it on the body left me absolutely confused. More so than the time I grabbed the lady's hand at the grocery store thinking it was my mom. I was 26 when that happened. Anyway, because if you remember the foreshadowing back at 2 minutes and 42 seconds, turns out I cannot read shapes and messed up their placement and did them backwards. So my dumbass had to take apart a huge amount of progress and reassemble it correctly. I continue riding the struggle bus because I spent 7 minutes trying to figure out how to take these two top pieces and forgot to take the two 4x4 pieces off the sides to take them off. But because I have big brain, I eventually figured it out and managed to make progress. As long as you keep apologizing and crying and shitting your pants, and you can keep moving forward. Anyway, I managed to remove the offending pieces from the main body, like Mola Ram from Indiana Jones. Now that I flipped the pieces to the correct orientation, we can now load our plane to the last saved checkpoint. There. Like nothing ever happened. We're now back on track, and I add the top engine cover. I also build and attach the front landing gear and the front cover as well. Assembling the Su-25's undercarriage was an easy task, and something I actually totally didn't mess up. I will say I do have doubts that these hinge pieces will keep something long and huge up. Which my thoughts were justified, because spoiler, I had to reinforce it. But that's near the end of the video. These couple of pieces are for more detailing to do under the engine exhaust. You guys want to see a magic trick? There we managed to make a second one appear out thin air, creating the complex curves that military and aeromorph porn enthusiasts all enjoy on their planes.
Oh my God!
I've been looking forward to mounting the engines on the plane because these, in my mind, makes me feel like an engineer and actually building the real-life plane. I know that sounds silly, but it's real to me, damn it. Before I apply the left side panel, I noticed something to my left on my shelf. I removed the gray-colored engines and flip-flopped the colors that's on the E-Wing set, because in my opinion, these white engines look way better than the gray ones that Brickmania provides, which funnily enough, the gray engines look even better on the E-Wing than the white ones did. Maybe this is fate, or I'm coping hard here. There, surgery completed, and yeah, I like this look a lot. Alright, after everything we've done up to this point, it's finally time. We can now officially apply the left side panel and bring this whole thing together. The hard points only consists of 6 pieces, but these 6 pieces were the biggest pain in my dick. Once they went on, it was fine. However, taking it off was like prying a penny from a dead shim's hand. I thought to get real cute with the editing here. You can also assume that it's the same on the other wing. With some greebles and other minor details, the undercarriage is now as smooth as my ass when I near it. Now the moment most of you Skibidi, Sigma, Rizzing, am I hip with the Gen Alphics yet? Kids have been waiting for. We now can't start assembling the armament for the Frogfoot. The armament that Brickmania provides are fuel tanks, S-13 rockets, and American-supplied Zunis, as well as what I can assume are R-60M missiles for air-to-air combat. I think these are aight for being brick-built. However, for $700, these could have been done differently, maybe even be resin-printed. So for the people at Brickmania, sleep with one eye open. I'm coming for you in Minecraft. For the longest time, this small gap was bugging me. It was until I looked into my bin that I realized that I had 2 of these pieces in that bin. So unfortunately, I gotta take apart the cockpit to add these 2 pieces to add more stability. I wish it was this easy to stabilize my mental health. Sorry, got too real right there. Anyway, we now gotta rebuild the plane to the last checkpoint, and this is gonna be the last up here in this video. We're now in the final stretch. All we gotta do is build the horizontal stabilizers. Built the other one off camera, and the way Brickmania designed the mounting points for the horizontal stabilizers was pretty clever. I never would have thought to mount it like that. Now on to the final step, and that is the vertical stabilizer along with the last bit of lore drop. The Su-25 has 1 vertical stabilizer with a single rudder. It may look like it has 2 due to its wide tail and engine placement, but it's a single rudder design. Now that we have finished assembling the vertical stabilizer, we are now done aside from this small modification I made. Remember how I said these hinge clips that were provided were too weak to hold up the underside of the tail? Well, I swapped it out with these clicky hinge pieces. I'm sure they have an official name, but this is my video and I'm calling it that. I had to change some pieces around to make sure everything fit like it normally would. But I think I managed to do a good job of it. And now we are done, and we can move on to the ratings. I'm gonna rate the Brickmania's Su-25 on the patented Mexi's Gato scale. Genius, 8.5 out of 10. The build is pretty clever overall. They use some smart techniques and a few parts in really out-of-the-box ways that I definitely appreciated. That said, there are a few weak spots in the design. The landing gear is a bit fragile, and parts of the cockpit tend to fall off a little too easily. So while it's creatively built, it's not the most solid structure. Aesthetics, 8.0 out of 10. Visually, the build looks really good. It's got a strong silhouette and is very accurate to the real Su-25. The proportions and shape are spot on, and it definitely captures the essence of the jet. That said, there are a few features I wish had been included, like the flaps on the wings, elevators on the horizontal stabilizers, and especially the dual rudder on the vertical stabilizer. It's close, but not quite to my level of satisfaction. Time, 9.0 out of 10. This build took me exactly 5 days, 51 hours, 53 minutes, and 59 seconds. In fact, it breaks down to about $1 for every 14.7 minutes of building. So yeah, it's not a quick one. But honestly, that's part of the appeal. It's a deep, detailed project that really gives you a lot to do for your money. The build experience is packed with interesting steps and techniques, and it never felt like it was dragging. For a set that costs $700, I appreciate that it doesn't rush the experience. It gives you solid bang for your buck. Oh, overall enjoyment, 7.5 out of 10. This was a really fun build. The techniques kept me engaged, and the final model looks awesome on display. But I do have to take the price into account here. At $700, this is a premium kit from Brickmania. And while you're getting great details, custom prints, and impressive design, there are some drawbacks. The fragility in areas like the landing gear and cockpit definitely affects the experience. For that kind of money, I expected something a bit sturdier and more refined in terms of build quality. So while I still enjoyed it, the price-to-play ratio brings the score down a bit. So, bonus category. Not every set I'll be reviewing includes a minifigure, but when they do, like this one, it definitely deserves its own category. Minifigure, 9.0 out of 10. The Su-25 pilot minifigure from Brickmania is phenomenal in terms of print quality. The pad printing is miles ahead of what LEGO themselves typically offer. It's crisp, ultra-detailed, and covers nearly the entire figure, including the helmet and flight gear. It absolutely looks the part, and fits the set perfectly. That said, I'm docking a point for a couple of things. First, I really wish it came with dual face printing. The included face has a permanently printed visor, which feels like a missed opportunity. That kind of detail could have been incorporated into the helmet instead. A secondary, visorless face, and even a hairpiece option would have added more versatility and display options. Still, it's a seriously impressive figure that rounds out the set nicely. Total score, 34 out of 40, making this a Mexi-approved set. The Brickmania Su-25 is an impressive and visually striking build with clever techniques and solid theme accuracy. However, at a $700 price point, the fragility and missing small details hold it back from being a top-tier set. Still, it's a strong kit that'll definitely turn heads on display. Before we close out, this is my first video on this channel, and if you want to see more, a sub would help out a lot. You can also join my Patreon, where you can see behind-the-scenes photos of what I am building next. Also, join my Discord. I am not asking, I'm demanding. The link as well as all my socials will be in the description. You can even decide the next vehicle. That's right, I said next. I already decided what the next 2 videos are. That's it for now. Get out of my house. Adios.
Hey,